People are running out of propane here in Texas.
We're in a little bit of a bind. We have no water, and I have an entire freshwater tank that is frozen solid. If we're lucky, we won't have any damage, but it shouldn't because we've got the furnace running. I don't understand. I miss my water.
What a fun-filled 48 hours that we've had here in Fort Worth. We came here to meet some friends. We were here last year unintentionally. It just happened that we were here this time last year. But this year we came for an actual event, the livestock event, and wanted to meet our friends down here. So as soon as we landed, we hit the ground running. And then we started out the next morning with the dog herding competitions.
Where's your cattle jokes now?
The use of dogs for sheep herding dates back to the 1500s. As far as we know, border collies have been specifically used for the past 130 years. In the border country between Scotland and England, the working collie established itself as the most valuable asset that a flock owner could have. The term collie was a rural term for anything useful, and a, quote, collie dog was indeed a useful dog. Because the breed flourished in this border region, they were christened the Border Collie. We quickly learned a few small points, such as each dog's graded on how long they take to complete the entire course. This includes taking the lamb around the barrels in a specific direction, then through the fence and into the corral. Throughout the competition, you may hear certain whistles and calls, and just the simple speed at which these dogs responded was fascinating. One example of a command is "away to me," which instructs the dog to circle the herd in a counterclockwise direction. The dog maintains a consistent distance from the herd as it flanks them. "Come by" is the opposite command, meaning for the dog to move in a clockwise position around the herd. "Get out, get back." That instructs the dog to place more distance between themselves and the stock if the stock seems to be becoming stressed. We're quite a ways from understanding all of it, but watching these dogs work was one of the highlights of our trip. We also got to meet Buck Taylor, and what a classy guy. That was another big highlight of our night.
See my new trailer? I guess if I ever get done RVing, I can always take to farming. The great thing about the Fort Worth Livestock Show experience is just the people you meet and the things that you see there. A lot of the old traditions that have kind of gone by the wayside are still very much prevalent here in Fort Worth. For instance, gentlemen will still take their hat off when they shake a lady's hand, or at a very minimum tip it. Everybody's very nice and courteous. It's definitely not a place that you need to keep your hand on your wallet or worry about your valuables, at least in my opinion. The whole area down there is pretty safe and the culture is very awesome. Everybody's really respectful to each other. And you can see a little bit of everything in there, from metal work to leather work. They even have old school shoe shining stands in there, which are just awesome. I really enjoy getting my boots cleaned up. I have a decent little process for keeping boots clean, but these guys made them better than they were when they were new.
In its youth, Fort Worth was a rough and tumble frontier town, dusty and lawless, home to the brave and the brawling, the soldier, the frontiersman, the outlaw. Fort Worth's first boom happened in 1867 when millions of Longhorns were driven through the town by way of the Chisholm Trail. The Pacific Railway increased the cattle traffic, and by the 1900s, Fort Worth was one of the largest cattle markets in the world, resulting in the popular nickname Cowtown.
That is a lost art. That is a super cool thing to do.
So where exactly does the East and the West begin? Well, it's debatable. After many opinions and debates, a cowboy poet, Arthur Chapman, opined in his poem, "Out where the West begins, out where the smile dwells a little longer, out where the friendship's a little truer, that's where the West begins." The slogan was adopted, and although it won't show up on maps, through warmth and generosity, Fort Worth will forever be where the West begins. So whether you came for one of the many events held here, a cattle drive performance, shopping, for work, make sure to immerse yourself in the history and culture that the city holds.
This heifer right here is 6 months old, and she's been a-growing. So she'll weigh 736 pounds at just under 7 months old. She's pretty though. All right, we are all finished up here at the Fort Worth Livestock Show. This is definitely something you ought to check out. They've got a little bit for everybody, whether you want to get your shoes shined or your knife sharpened, or you want to buy you a $10 or $15 or $20,000 stud horse.
You want to spend money, just come try it.
Or you can pay 12 bucks to get in like we did and just walk around and enjoy the scenery. It's a great place. Let's see what else today has in store. Since we're in Fort Worth, I figure it's about time to polish the boots. Mine are kind of covered in New Mexico and Arkansas dust. Polishing boots is kind of a lost art. I have my dress boots shined up down at the livestock show earlier today, but I realized that my boots, my ostrich boots, are pretty nasty, and I wanted to wear them tonight because they're real comfortable. I'm gonna be on my feet a lot, and Ange needed hers done. So while I'm nowhere near as good as the folks here in Fort Worth that do it professionally, I can give it a quick and dirty just as good as anybody. I kind of have a small process on my own, and I like to use this Chamberlain's leather cleaner. It's pretty good stuff. They've got 3 different steps. So this is number 2. This is the cleaner, and then you throw number 1 on it. That's actually called the leather milk. And then if you're in rainy season, you can go on to step 3 and put a water repellent on it, which I won't do here, but it just kind of does good to get those little grooves and scratches and scuffs out of them and make them look nice when we go out to hear the band tonight. I don't know what you got your feet up against, but you've kind of murdered these boots. They're a little scuffed up on the top. So I like to use Dr. Martin's shoe polish. mainly because it's mostly beeswax and it does really good to fill in these little scratches, and then it just lets the natural color of the leather show through. As long as it's not cut too deep, it's a pretty good process.
I get used to this.
Well, you didn't get it done at the stockyard, so you at least get a little taste of what it's like, I guess.
They are professionals. After a quick dog check and a nap, we headed out for some more good food, and then we went to go listen to a band that Cody and I have been hearing about for a very long time. In fact, I think Cody even saw them play when he was a kid. If you like classic honky tonk, these guys were incredible. I enjoyed every second of it, and some of those guys, they're athletes. There's a couple of guys that were in their late 70s that I know for sure, which is incredible. It was a good time.
How about a big welcome for Bob Wills, Texas Playboys, under the direction of Jason Roberts.
Hey, thank you everybody. We're so glad to be here. Let's just get right into it. The Texas Playboys are on the air.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see behind me, it's winter in Texas. They're not supposed to have winter in Texas. We're down here in Fort Worth. We've been having an absolute blast. Man, Saturday, it was 70 degrees and sunny, and it was awesome here in Fort Worth. But that temperature started to drop pretty quick, and this morning, we're in a little bit of a bind. We have no water. I've talked before about how when you're dealing with winter weather situations, if you have the electric fireplace, you want to set the electric fireplace lower than the furnace. So last night we had that. We knew we were going to get super cold weather. The temps were dropping rapidly. So I set my electric fireplace on 64 degrees and had my thermostat on the wall for the furnace set at 68. And I woke up this morning and we have no water. We had done all of our due diligence. We had dumped our tanks knowing this cold weather was coming. We had filled up our freshwater tank. And I have an entire freshwater tank that is frozen solid. I know my lines on the inside of the house are good because they'll drip a little bit when I turn the faucets on, but we're froze up, guys. I'm not sure what happened. We had the furnace thermostat set higher than the electric fireplace thermostat, had our tanks full, water hoses disconnected, the whole 9 yards. So we're toast. And we didn't run out of propane, if that's what you're thinking. All I can figure is it got into the low teens, and we had high winds for days straight, but we've had cold temperatures for over 12 hours now, and I'm guessing there's a spot where that cold air is getting in and froze my tank up. If we're lucky, we won't have any damage. If we're not so lucky, I'll make another video about it. For now, we've got about 3 days of this stuff to deal with. Luckily, we're right over here by the shower house. So no problem there. We can just walk right over here and take showers. The campground has the heat going in there, and we have water. My other option would be to go out and pick up a heated water hose. That's a great idea. I figure I'm probably not going to get one shipped in here before everything thaws out, so it's kind of pointless on this trip. And 2, I probably can't find one in town. And 3, even if I could, I can't even get this faucet open. So we are without water. We're going to deal with it. We kind of have a plan on what we're going to do, and we're going to bring you guys along with us just to show you that even if this happens, it's not the end of the world. It's just a minor inconvenience. So hopefully you guys are warm wherever you are, and we'll keep you guys updated on how we manage without water for the better part of this week.
We ended up accumulating a ton of dishes, so I just went ahead and went all in, cooked a bunch of food so we can just warm it up and do leftovers and do paper plates, plasticware. So once I get done with these dishes, because I've depleted a lot of our water washing them, I'm going to go replenish our water. It sounds like we have some water spigots that are available to us to fill up. And I'm just boiling water and mixing it and using that to wash dishes. But I'm hoping we don't have so many after this. I'm headed out to go hunt down some propane. We did top off before we got here, knowing that bad weather was coming in, but people are running out of propane here in Texas. Our campground has been out for a few days. They've been desperately calling and trying to get a truck in to get it refilled. I've called around a few places locally, and there's a lot of other people that are out of gas. I found a Tractor Supply. It's a little further out, but they do indeed have propane, or at least they did when I called. So I'm gonna head over there and see if I can get this tank topped off. I would feel a lot better about it. We are finding generally that we can make it about 10 days. That's normal cooking, and we cook a lot. Normal cooking, normal heat, about 10 days on a tank of propane. Days like this where we've got to have that gas pumping through to keep everything in the underbelly warm, probably closer to 3 days. So I'm nervous about cooking too much more since it's been a couple days on the other tank. So I'm gonna go get this thing topped off and just feel a little bit better to get us through the next few days. Okay, so since you plugged in, we have water in the bathroom. We do not have water at the kitchen sink. I don't know what that means.
So to recap for everybody, it's got up to about 26 degrees here in Fort Worth. Our freshwater tank's still clearly frozen. We've had the tank heaters on and the furnace blowing all week. It's not thawing, the water pump kicks on, but you can tell it's not sucking water, so that's out. The campground did turn the water back on at our site today. We have water at the hose, and we have water, what'd you say, in the bathroom sink and the shower, but not the kitchen sink. So I wonder if it's just froze up on the back side of the trailer, because the freshwater tank is back there over the axles, so that would make sense that it's just frozen in one spot.
Okay.
So we may have a frozen water line at the kitchen sink, but it shouldn't because we've got the furnace running. I don't understand.
Well, none of the faucets have been working.
Right, nothing's been on in a while, so we're gonna go in and fill up our water jugs for tonight, hopefully wash a few dishes if I can get the sink to work, just take care of a few things, clean up some stuff we haven't been doing since we haven't had a lot of water.
And hoping for no damage, but that's a problem for another day.
And we'll find out tomorrow when it's supposed to get up to about 46 degrees in the afternoon, if I start having water running out from under the back of the trailer, whether or not we busted our fresh tank, because it was fuller than full. Let you know.
Do 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 do.
I was so excited, I think I woke up this morning with wishful thinking, because I know it's supposed to get up in the high 40s this afternoon and start thawing stuff out. So I went out and hooked up the water hose to take a shower, since we were able to hook it up and wash dishes in the bathroom last night. Outside faucets froze, no dice there, so I thought, well, I'll go take one more shower at the shower house. Tomorrow I'll use my own house. And the water's frozen up at the shower house, and someone decided to leave a surprise in the toilet to make the whole place smell really good, which was awesome, but I'm sure that happened before they realized the water's off. The water hasn't been off at the bathhouse all week. I guess I'll just sit in my dirty gym clothes for a little while, and maybe we'll get some water this afternoon. I miss my water.
We had high hopes for today. Today it's supposed to get up into the 40s. It's already up to the 20s. But we also received notice that the campground has shut the water off, and they had another line break, and so there's a boil order going on. We have been boiling water. We drank some of it out of the spigot until we started seeing a lot of that brownish yellow water, and even after we boil it, it's kind of sketchy. So although we were excited to take a shower in our own shower, not only can we not do that, we can't do it in the bathhouse. Today we're having a good old-fashioned sink bath. Now this is some excitement. As always, thanks for tagging along with us on this trip. It's been eventful, that we can say. We'll see you guys next Tuesday when we find out what's going on, if we have damage, and we're hoping for none. Hoping we luck out. See you later. What a fun-filled 48 out.
We don't have water. Okay, so to recap for everybody, the temperatures have gotten up to about 26 degrees. The campground turned the power back on. Our freshwater tank is still clear.
Turn the water back on.
Okay, to recap for everybody, it's got up to about 26 degrees here. The campground's turned the I said it again. All right, to recap for everybody, it's gotten up to about 26 degrees here. So to recap for everybody, it's gotten up to about 26 degrees here in Fort Worth. That sounded bad.